Hollywood just witnessed a fairy tale turn into a straight-up nightmare. The castle crumbled, the queen ain't winning, and the prince, nowhere to be found, and right in the middle of the fallout, Rachel Zegler, star of Disney's catastrophic Snow White remake, now turned symbol of what some are calling the most embarrassing box office collapse in Disney history. But just when the dust looked like it was settling, in steps Brett Cooper, poised, fiery, and armed with cold facts. The Daily Wire star didn't just clap back at the film's failure. She torched the entire production with Hollywood flair and political precision.
Reporting her newly 18-year-old.
What went down isn't just another industry beef. Nah. This is a tale of arrogance, delusion, and digital warfare. Let's break down how Brett Cooper flipped the script and left Zegler reeling in her own broken mirror. The remake of Snow White, one of Disney's most iconic classics, was supposed to be a 21st century feminist rebrand. Instead, it became a flaming wreck, a financial disaster, critically panned, and hated by fans before it even hit the big screen. Let's rewind the reel. Disney tapped Rachel Zegler, the rising star from West Side Story, to step into the glass slippers of Snow White. But from day one, the vibe was off. Interviews surfaced where Zegler low-key dragged the original film, calling the prince a stalker and implying the story was outdated trash. "We're not doing the 1937 version," she said with smug Gen Z clarity. "This Snow White doesn't dream of love. She dreams of being a leader."
Something I'm so unbelievably thankful for.
We know you.
That should have been a red flag. Instead, Disney doubled down, scrapping the Seven Dwarfs for a cast of magical creatures that looked more like a woke sketch parody than a billion-dollar fairy tale. Critics saw it, fans smelled it, and when the trailer dropped, the backlash was nuclear. Enter Brett Cooper, conservative commentator, actress, and rising voice in the Gen Z political scene. She ain't Snow White. She's more like the sharp-tongued huntsman, cutting through Hollywood BS with sarcasm and data.
Seems very, very similar to.
On her comment section show and social feeds, Cooper wasted no time unloading on Zegler's attitude. "This isn't about reimagining a character," she said. "It's about tearing down tradition and replacing it with an identity crisis disguised as empowerment." She didn't stop there. Cooper called out Zegler for spitting on the legacy of a character she clearly doesn't respect, and for alienating fans with feminist overkill and condescending TikTok rants. And it resonated. Millions of views, thousands of shares. The tide started to turn, not just against Snow White, but against Disney's entire strategy of injecting progressive politics into fairy tales. Now, let's get into the crime and suspense of it all. Because this wasn't just a bad movie. It was a theatre heist gone wrong. The victims, the audience, the villain, arrogance. According to a Variety report, the film cost north of $250 million, including reshoots, CGI adjustments, and rebranding to patch the damage done by Zegler's press tour. But the opening weekend only brought in $43 million. And that's worldwide. In its second weekend, a catastrophic 70% drop. From queen to pauper in 7 days. Insiders at Disney, as reported by The Hollywood Reporter, were furious about how the messaging got away from them. One unnamed executive told the outlet, "We didn't just lose control of the narrative, we never had it. Zegler didn't sell Snow White, she sold herself." Meanwhile, Brett Cooper seized that narrative and flipped it into a cultural reckoning. But it wasn't just hot takes and YouTube monologues. Brett Cooper came with receipts. She pulled up clips from Zegler's interviews, including one viral TikTok where the actress smugly says, "If you don't like it, don't watch it. I don't need your support." That hit differently when the box office numbers dropped. "You told them not to watch it," Cooper reminded viewers, "and they listened." She broke down the film's problems with brutal clarity. At its core, the plot was stripped of its romantic heart, leaving behind a hollow, reimagined shell of what once was a classic fairy tale. The lead actress, Rachel Zegler, gave the impression that she genuinely despised the very movie she was promoting. Her interviews carried the energy of someone reluctantly fulfilling a contractual obligation rather than embracing a beloved role. The entire production felt like an identity crisis wrapped in CGI, with flashy visuals trying to distract from a storyline that didn't know what it wanted to be. She even posted a side-by-side comparison of classic Snow White verses. Zegler's version, showing how much was lost in translation. Fans flooded the comments. "She's speaking facts," one user wrote. "This ain't Snow White, it's Ego White." But the real mystery, how did Disney let it get this far? The studio has been hemorrhaging hits. From the Marvels to Indiana Jones 5, the flops are piling up like unpaid SAG dues. Yet somehow they greenlit Snow White, a project starring an actress with a clear disdain for the IP, a story rewritten until it was unrecognizable, and a tone that screamed more Twitter activism than storybook charm. Disney tried damage control. They pushed back the release date, recut the trailers, even reportedly considered firing Zegler mid-promo. But Cooper's analysis revealed the deeper issue, a systemic disconnect between Hollywood and its audience. "This isn't about politics," she said in one segment. "It's about authenticity. When the person leading your movie doesn't even believe in what she's saying, why should anyone else?" That line hit like a brick. As for Rachel Zegler, the backlash took a toll. She went silent on Twitter for weeks, deleting posts and disabling comments on Instagram. Paparazzi caught her outside an LA cafe, dodging questions about the box office disaster. In a quiet TikTok live, she finally addressed the storm. "I didn't mean to come off as arrogant. I just wanted to be honest about how I felt. But I get it now. I really do." But by then, the damage was done. Theatres pulled screenings, merch sales dried up. International box offices barely budged. According to Deadline, Disney is re-evaluating future live-action remakes, and Snow White 2 has quietly been shelved. Back on her platform, Brett Cooper celebrated. Not with pettiness, but with purpose. "This isn't about me versus Rachel," she told her viewers. "This is about the stories we pass on, the culture we defend." Snow White mattered. Not because she was weak, but because she was kind and hopeful and human. Cooper closed that segment with a mic drop. You can't fix a classic by breaking its soul. So, what's the moral of this dark fairy tale? Rachel Zegler tried to reinvent Snow White. Disney tried to rewrite the rules. But Brett Cooper? She brought the mirror. And in that reflection, the audience saw the truth. No amount of modern gloss can mask a heartless remake. No marketing spin can save a story when its star doesn't believe in the magic. Snow White didn't die because she was old-fashioned. She was assassinated by ego, ideology, and a total disconnect from what made her iconic in the first place. Now it's your turn to chime in. Was Rachel Zegler misunderstood? Or did she sabotage her own fairy tale? Did Brett Cooper bring the cold, hard truth? Or was she just another culture warrior cashing in on the chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was this Disney's wake-up call, or just another chapter in Hollywood's slow collapse? And if you want more deep dives into the drama, gossip, and behind-the-scenes power plays of your favourite stars and studios, hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Because in Hollywood, the curtain never really falls, it just gets pulled back.